Your fingers clutched onto the edge of the glass, swirling what very little liquid you had left after sitting at the bar for the past 15 minutes. You were early for this date. You couldn't wait while you watched the clock count down to the end of your workday, prepping yourself 10 minutes prior before walking out the door. It was an unusually cold day, a cold snap that must have snuck its way between extremely sunny and warm days. It was unusual and uncommon, but not improbable. Nothing like a light jacket to help stave off the chill. However, now inside the warmth of the bar, you relax to the solemn beats of lo-fi chill. It was nice to decompress after a long day at work, and a smile crept on your lips as you sipped on your liqueur coffee. You chuckled at yourself, recalling a few memories about the beverage. It became his favorite drink of choice after all, and you wouldn't have thought anything less.
"Hey there,"
crooned a voice from behind. Your smile suddenly faltered. It was not the voice you were expecting to hear when you turned to look over your shoulder, coming face to face with a stranger, good looking to the eye, but still not the person you were waiting for.
"Nursing something?"
he continued, his sleepy doe eyes staring straight into yours with a lazy grin. You still held on to your glass, the dark creamy liquid swirling inside before you drank the rest of its contents. "Not anymore," you replied flatly, pushing the glass across the bar and turning your back on him. You fixed your jacket's collar, facing the illuminated mirrored glass across from the bar, and noticed a gentleman taking a seat next to you. You side-glanced at the man, watching his reflection as he turned to face you, that grin still on his face.
I'd ask what someone like yourself would be here on their lonesome. But that's a little cliché,"
he droned on, his voice dancing amongst the atmosphere and the music.
"You look like someone who's got a lot of stress on your mind."
You quirked a brow without turning your gaze towards the gentleman, continuing to watch his reflection instead on the bar's wall. He leaned in towards you by the counter, his suit jacket open and revealing a tight buttoned-up shirt. Again, good-looking, but he was encroaching on your space. You checked your phone for the time. 6:13 p.m. Another 2 minutes, maybe. You knew he was a little blasé about tardiness and punctuality. "Stressed?" you questioned, enough to feel polite, but also, unfortunately, not enough to disinterest his advances.
"It's not often you find someone drinking coffee at a bar,"
he commented, eyeing the empty glass on the counter before the bartender swiftly stole it away.
"People come here to relax, and I can offer that for you tonight."
You knew he wasn't drunk. There was no smell of alcohol on him. His actions were intentional, and as much as you didn't want to use your quirk, you couldn't help your curiosity getting the better of you. Still staring at his reflection, you watched his grin widen and his thoughts crept into your mind. It was vague, and only a few words were caught in the cloud you searched through.
"Come on. You want it. Best looking here. This'll be fun."
There was not a lot you could gauge from the words, but those that did were the strongest thoughts he held. Intuition aside, this was a very uncomfortable situation. "Sorry," you said, still eyeing him in the bar's wall. "I have other plans tonight."
Oh? He crooned. Waiting on somebody? Friend of yours?
"As a matter of fact, yes," you replied, not once turning to face him. "I'd appreciate some solitude until then." You wondered if he got the hint. "Take it and go," you thought, but you watched as his body shifted to face you, edging closer to your bar stool with his, and leaning his head towards yours in an attempt to look you in the eyes.
Now, come on. One conversation should suffice,
he persuaded with a lilt in his voice.
It's the least we could do to enjoy the company. How about we have a conversation instead?
Your ears perked at the familiar smooth drone of the voice, watching in the bar's mirrored wall the reflection of a familiar man dressed in a dark purple suit. Kokimura Saki, the tailor called it. You remembered trying to commit the color's name to memory, in case there was anything else to add to his wardrobe collection. The man who had been a slight bother to you for the past few minutes turned to find Shinsou staring down at him, hands lazily in his pockets, while his tired eyes bored into him like daggers. Watching the scene unfold, the man's posture shifted. What was once this assumed confidence had turned into one of annoyance, maybe inconvenience. A smile crept on your lips upon the sight of Shinsou standing before him without a care in the world, or at least you would believe him to be that way.
"Hey, buddy,"
spoke the man with a sharp tone, a contrast to the smoothness he held earlier.
"I'm treating this one to a nut."
Then, as if time stood still, his body stopped before his shoulders drooped and his arms hung low. You finally turned your body towards Shinsou, your eyes meeting his violet ones.
Did he give you a hard time?"
he asked, curious. You shook your head, your smile still present. "Not at all. Just innocently blind to the fact that I didn't respond to him." Shinsou hummed before he returned his attention to the man, still sitting limp at the counter.
"Stand up,"
he instructed. The man willingly responded to his commands.
"Have dinner, go home, and go to bed."
Still limp and staring into nothingness, the man walked away from the bar counter, making his way towards the exit and disappearing into the evening night. It was amusing when most date nights ended up this way. It would run like any normal night, when Shinsou and yourself made time every week to go out after work. It was healthy for the relationship, especially in this strange working climate with the hero agencies. You found your way into working with the police as a called-in interrogator when required, while Shinsou had worked tirelessly to gain hero status in an agency close by. It was a normal routine for the both of you to return home at odd hours, sometimes surprising yourselves when you would find each other on the way home together. It was the small moments that made things interesting, especially with the type of quirks the both of you harbored. Shinsou took his seat next to you, calling for the bartender for an order of 2 liqueur coffees. You chuckled, commenting on your earlier drink while waiting for him at the bar. "Great minds think alike, huh?" You motioned, your head resting on your hands and finally being the most relaxed you've been all day.
"Well then, you deserve another one, kitten,"
he jested, pointing towards the exit.
You didn't need that kind of disturbance this evening.
He was referring to the gentleman earlier, but it only made your smile grow before you lightly nudged your shoulder into his. I was counting, you teased. You had another 2 minutes last I checked, and you arrived right on time. Literally. A chuckle escaped Shinsou's lips before he laid his palm on your knee, rubbing his thumb against it while he lazily stared at you with admiration.
You didn't use your quirk on him?
Only a little, just to find out his intention, but I'm more surprised by you. Shinsou's expression faltered, if only a little, at your remark while the bartender returned with his order, sliding the glasses towards the both of you.
How so?
You actually asked him to go about his day, you explained. I almost expected a little something in there to... you know... You gestured with your hands, unassumingly, slightly hoping Shinsou also understood your gist.
Fuck him over.
Yeah, you quickly responded with a crooked smile. You used to do it before, at least in our senior year. You laughed nervously, now second-guessing your thoughts on the matter. After all, it was in your 3rd year of UA that Shinsou was a little vindictive in his tactics when he had grown as a hero in his own right. A light sigh escaped his lips, but a playful smirk crossed them too.
Kitten, as fun as that may be, I'm more in the mood to just spend time with you.
He took his glass and raised it. You followed suit, clinking the glasses together before the both of you took a sip of the bittersweet liquid. I'm glad you came, you murmured, while you nursed the new glass of liqueur in your hands. And on time. Any longer, and I may have had to actually rip the guy a new one. Shinsou smiled lazily before he raised his hands towards yours, resting his palm on your wrist while he rubbed circles into it with his thumb.
I'm happy to hear that,
he replied.
But your vindictiveness aside, maybe after a few, I'll see if I can make you purr by the end of the night.
Oh? You replied with a slight fluster. You gazed into Shinsou's violet eyes, boring into yours, ones filled with flirtation and a playful twinkle. You knew that smirk on his face so well. You figured he either had a really good day today, or a really horrible one, and wanted to take his mind off of such things. Your eyes looked away from his for a moment, focusing on his hand still on your wrist, caressing it gently and soothingly. Well, then, want to make a game of it? You suggested, swirling the liqueur in your hands and piquing his interest. First one to purr loses? A low chuckle escaped Shinsou's throat before he closed the distance between himself and you. His breath washed over you when his lips drew near, hovering over your own before he uttered the words that would make up for the rest of your date night.
You're on, kitten.